So it is the Saturday before the opening of the bow season here in East Texas, and today I'm going to take the time to get all of my early season gear out to make sure I've got everything I need before the opener next weekend. Just something I like to do every year is try to get everything out, lay it out, make sure I've got everything I need, and actually go ahead and get it packed into my pack so it's ready to go next Saturday when it's time to go hunt. Definitely something you want to try to do if you haven't already done, especially if you're working Monday through Friday. Last thing you want to do is come Friday evening is try to get all your stuff together and make sure you got everything you need for the next day, because it never fails, something's missing that you need. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and run through all this stuff I've got laid out behind me. I'll kind of give you guys a rundown of what I carry, why I carry it, and what I use it for. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to touch on are the boots that I'm wearing. Being that we're in the South and in East Texas, we do have some swampy conditions depending on where you are in the forest. So I am rocking the Lacrosse snake-proof boots, and that's because, again, we are in the South. It is very warm here early season, and there are quite a few snakes out and about. It's very normal to run into one at least every time you go out. So I don't take any chances. So I bought these. I think I got them for a little over 200 bucks at Academy a couple years ago. They've been extremely durable. They're very comfortable, and highly recommend this boot. Also, as the season goes and things start to cool off, I actually will start to wear just a normal hiking boot. It's much more comfortable and easier to walk in, especially long distances. This is a cheaper boot. They're actually Magellan boots that I got at Academy. I want to say for 50 or 60 bucks. I've had them for about a year, and so far they've held up pretty good, and they're very comfortable. So if you want to check those out, again, got those at Academy. Next thing I want to talk about are the climbing sticks that I'm using. The past 2 seasons I've been running these Muddy Pro sticks that actually have this rope cam system. They're extremely easy to use. They work very well, and they're very quiet. They do have the double step system, which I like. I like not having to worry about stepping with my left or right foot. I like being able to come right down the tree and not have to worry about it. Also, in conjunction with these, last year I started actually running climbing aiders that I actually just made my own. You can buy these. It's also extremely easy just to make your own, very inexpensive. If you guys are interested in that, I can put some kind of a tutorial video together, but you can also search it. There's several other videos already out about them. But yeah, highly recommend this stick. They're about 2.5 pounds a piece. I run 4 of them total. So 4 of these with the aiders. I actually have 4 aiders. I mean, I can get up to around 30 feet pretty easy with that system. Just running the sticks, you can get up to about 20 feet depending on the spacing. So next is my stand. So there's a lot of options out there as far as hunting methods for run and gun style of hunting. You can just hunt right off the ground. You can do a pop-up blind. Some guys prefer climbers, especially here in the piney woods of Texas. It's easy to get really high in a climber, see a long distance. Since I primarily bow hunt, I prefer to be in a clamp on, because this allows me to kind of get up in trees that have a lot more cover in the tree itself, which allows me more freedom to move, especially when an animal's close. So I, again, for the past couple of seasons, have been running this Millennium, I think it's a Micro Light M7 stand. This thing has been a workhorse. It has been awesome. It is one of the lighter stands on the market. At least it was probably 2 or 3 years ago when I bought it. There are some lighter models out now. This runs about 11.5 pounds per the specs on their website. And one thing I do like about these Millennium stands is that it has this tree harness setup system. So this actually works with this tree bracket, so you can climb up. I generally climb with this on my back. I'll put this bracket on the tree, and I can just set my stand right in, open it up, and it's ready to hunt. So extremely easy to put up. Downside is it is an aluminum bracket. There's not any kind of rubber coating on there. and this bracket is also aluminum, so you've got to be real careful because you can hear it can clank, so if you drop it, it makes noise. So just got to be real easy with it. But as far as the usability, very easy to use and very efficient product. Right, so since I'm in a clamp-on stand, I'm running a safety harness, and honestly, if you're in any kind of an elevated stand and you're not using a harness, you definitely should. It is extremely dangerous. I've had several close calls myself. Haven't actually had to put the harness to use, but I have pushed the limits and had some scares. So I do run a Hunter Safety System harness. They do have an early season model out, I believe, that has mesh. I haven't justified spending the money on it. This thing can get kind of hot, but generally I'm able to stay cool enough in it. In conjunction with this, I do use this rope here that I also got from Hunter Safety System. So this is actually the rope that you use to wrap around the tree and secure yourself to your harness to. But I've actually been able to also double this up and use this as a lineman's belt as I climb the tree. So kind of a two-in-one purpose, and I also don't have to carry an extra lineman's belt. So these two working together, very efficient, works very well. So if you're not running something like this, I highly recommend spending a little money just to make sure you're safe out there, guys. This rope here, as you can see, I actually tied several little loops through it, put some little clips on there just for clipping gear and whatnot, but I will actually use this setup in the tree. I'll wrap it around the tree, run it back through this loop there. So I'll actually come around the tree, run it through, cinch it down, and then I'll hang my pack from one of these, and it will actually cinch down and keep the rope in place with my pack, and then I can hang other accessories on this as well. I can also use this to hang my bow from. I have a clip that I will use. Is this little guy here. I think I bought this at Lowe's. I think it's designed to hold a drill, but I can actually clip that on there with this out off the tree and hang my bow. If you've done any public land hunting before in East Texas, in the National Forest out here, you're not allowed to damage the trees at all, trim them, or anything like that. So as far as using a bow hanger, it's got to be something that either straps to the tree or something you can clip on a branch. So if I'm on a tree that doesn't have branches, this works very well for hanging my bow on. I do have a bow hanger too that I put on my stand, but that thing was very heavy, so I ended up scrapping that and just exclusively going to this system. It works really well. So I carry kind of an assortment of ropes. I have a Hunter Safety System gear slash bow hoist system here that I use for my bow. Some other rope here that's actually reflective. I used to use this for my bow. Now I use it to actually haul up camera arm and camera gear before my bow. And then actually this year I'm going to start running this 1/4 inch utility line here to actually pull my pack up as well. So I'll actually probably climb the tree kind of with rope trailing and pull stuff up. In the past I've had my pack on with my stand. It's kind of clunky and weird to move around, so this will be something new I'm trying this year, and hopefully that works out. Alright, so I keep a couple different flashlights in my pack, keep a headlamp that I wear, you know, pretty much anytime I go in or out of the stand in the dark. Being hands-free, huge plus. I'm sure most guys do this. If you're not, you should. I also carry a flashlight, a good LED flashlight that puts out a lot of light. This is something I would use primarily as a backup if my headlamp went out, or primarily would be for tracking an animal at night. This puts out a lot more light, easier to stay on a blood trail. Also in my pack for my headlamp, I always keep extra AAA batteries for this, just because it gets so much use with the amount of time I spend in the dark hiking in and out. It never fails. They start to get weak and they have to be changed, so always keep some spare batteries as well. You never know when something's going to go out on you. Always carry a rangefinder, primarily bow hunting year-round, so this is a must-have for me. I actually kind of put on my own strap on this because I like to wear it around my body like this. with it at my side, so it's out of the way, it's hands-free. I can pull it up and use it when I need it. Another thing, always carry some milkweed. This is something I actually bought, probably paid way too much for it. This is Phase 3 wind floaters. I think I got them off of Amazon. If y'all are interested, let me know. I can put a link up for this. Next, always carry a grunt call. This is a Primos hands-free buck and doe, so it's a dual combo call. Hardly ever use it in the piney woods. Haven't really had a lot of luck with animals, with deer responding to calling, but never a bad idea to have it. If you see a deer moving off or working in a distance that's not coming towards you, it can't hurt to try to call to them. Never know, it may work out. So always keep that with me. I like it because it's small, can wear it around my neck, and it's completely out of the way. It's not a big clunky call, and it actually has a pretty good sound. So definitely cool product. Recommend checking that out. You can pick it up at probably any academy or outdoor store in the area. A must-have item in the South and probably anywhere that there's any kind of wetlands is Thermacell. If you don't have one of these, go buy one right now. These things are awesome. They work very well. I run the fresh earth pads in them. As long as you're playing the wind, you don't have to worry about the deer smelling it. It does keep the mosquitoes away. I keep a whole pack of the wafers here in my pack, as well as a couple extra gas bottles at all times. Next, always carry a trail camera in my pack. I do a lot of run and gun hunting throughout the season. I'm constantly popping into areas I've never been into, finding a new sign. So if I'm ever in an area that looks good while I'm there and I'm curious about what's happening year round, I'll go ahead and hang a camera up, leave it all the way through to the spring before I go collect it and kind of see what's been happening in the area. So if you can carry something, definitely keep both of these items in your pack at all times. Great for scouting, keeps the mosquitoes away from you. Next, keep an external battery pack charger and a phone charger. Use my phone for OnX, so using a lot of battery in my phone throughout the day. Also, I use these to power GoPros while I'm filming as external battery packs. So definitely something I recommend when you're out in the forest. You never know when something could happen. You end up stranded. You may need to charge a battery, stay the night, whatever it may be. So definitely recommend carrying this. It's worth the extra weight, and they don't weigh very much, so it's not much of an issue to have it. All right, so next would be meat packs. So the pack system I'm running is a meat hauler system as well. So as long as it's not the opening weekend or rifle, you're not having to check your deer in at a check station. So I prefer to actually quarter them and pack them out. The deer I shot a couple years ago was actually the first public land deer that I had shot, and I was about 1.5 miles in there, and putting him on the deer cart and packing him out was a huge pain in the butt. It was exhausting, extremely hard coming through the woods. So I switched to quartering and packing out, which seems to be the way to go as long as you are able to do that and it's legal to do it in your area. As far as I know, in the national forests, it's okay. Again, but don't quote me on that. Definitely look into that before you do it. Again, I know on opening weekend you have to take your deer into the check station so they can be checked out by the biologist. Always keep a couple bungee cords with me. I actually used to use these to hang my pack in the stand. I'd wrap it around the tree, basically like that, and could hang my pack on it. But now I find all kinds of uses, whether it's strapping stuff to the bottom of my stand. I use these to pull branches out of the way. Again, in the national forest here in Texas, you're not actually able to trim or cut any limbs off of a living tree that you're hunting in. So if you're in a tree with a lot of coverage, you may have to move branches. So you can use bungee cords, or actually some of the rope that I carry to tie around branches and pull it up, so you can kind of pull stuff out of your way to make some shooting lanes. So always keep these in my pack as well. And next, just kind of an assortment of random extra straps for my pack, extensions, things like that, for, again, if you're actually packing stuff out or you need to strap more gear on the outside of your pack. So these always stay with it. As far as skinning, quartering supplies, always keep wet wipes. These are good for when you're done quartering, working on an animal, clean yourself up if there's not a stream or anything nearby. Also, in the event of an emergency, also good to have, if you know what I'm saying. Keep several heavy-duty rubber gloves, also good to wear when you're quartering, cleaning up an animal. Just try to keep your hands dirty, or keep your hands clean, sorry. Always have Outdoor Edge skinning knife. I'm running the one, I think this is a 3-inch blade, which works fine for what I'm doing. This does have the replaceable blade system, which I like. Again, just trying to cut weight. I can carry some extra blades to quarter, clean the animals in the field instead of carrying a sharpening hone with me to keep touching up a knife. Just saves a lot of time. A few other kind of miscellaneous things. SD card reader. This actually is something that I just picked up for this year. This is an actual Apple SD card reader. It's compatible with the iPhone. I've run a lot of the SD card readers from Academy. Had a lot of issues with them, either crashing, freezing, or actually the software in the app itself just kind of becomes incompatible and they just stop updating it and it's no longer good. Then you have to buy a whole nother SD card reader to actually make it work again. So this is something I picked up from Best Buy, I think for $30, and it is an actual Apple product. And so far, this thing works awesome. If you guys are interested, I will put a link down below in the description for you guys to check this out. Hunting license, of course. Carry zip ties for tagging animals. Just punch a hole in an ear or wrap these around an antler, put my tag right on it, and of course a pin at all times just to be able to fill out tags in the event that I actually find one of these East Texas deer. So something else I always carry is this little guy right here. So it's actually a whistle that has a compass, temperature gauge, and a magnifying glass on it that you can use for starting fires. Obviously this is for in the event of an emergency. Phone dies, you can use the compass to get out. If I end up falling out of my tree stand, I'm stranded, and I've called somebody to come help me, I can use the whistle to help them locate me. For some reason I'm stranded and it's cold, I can use the magnifying glass to start fires. So if you're not using something like this, definitely highly recommend it. Finally, my pack. So originally when I first started, I was actually running just a cheap backpack that I would strap to my stand, and I had straps on my stand and I would wear that on my back. But after hiking several miles with that on, it was very uncomfortable. So I decided to kind of do some research into frame packs that are used more for backcountry stuff, and actually ended up settling on the KUIU system. So this is an external frame with interchangeable packs. I run the 1850 cubic inch pack. It's perfect for what I'm doing out here with the carbon frame. So one of the lightest packs on the market. Again, run and gun, being in the backcountry, weight for me is a big factor. This was a very expensive setup. It was hard to spend the money, but it was worth every penny. If you're interested, I will put a link for this system down below as well. But it gives a lot of storage here. I keep ropes and meat sacks. Also, you're able to run water system. I have 3 liters in here that I use if I'm going to be in one area all day. I'll keep that in there. Otherwise, I just carry a few bottles of water in with me. I did add these accessory pouches. I'll keep, extra camera batteries and stuff in here. Generally keep rangefinder in this one. That way, if I'm hiking and I come in on something, I can access my rangefinder to try to get a shot. So, again, this is an 1850 size. They go all the way up to, I think, 6,500 cubic inch that can actually go on this frame as well. So after you spend the initial money on the frame system, the packs are fairly inexpensive in the long run. So I can use this all the way from what I'm doing, hunting whitetails, all the way up to hunting elk in the backcountry for 2 weeks if I needed that much gear. All right, so that's essentially what I carry in my pack all the time. Now, obviously, as the weather starts to change and cool off, I generally start to carry some extra clothes in my pack, and just because generally I'm hiking a long way in, so I'm actually generally hiking in just my thermal underwear. Once I get out there, I'll cool off, actually put all my gear on once I actually have my stand and everything set up, just to try to prevent myself from sweating and getting cold. So now actually I'm going to take the time to put everything in my pack just to give you guys an idea of what that looks like when it's all put together. Alright, so as you can see, that took me some time to actually get everything packed in there. Another good reason why it's good to do this stuff before you start the season. You know, by the end of the season, I'll be able to do that entire process, getting that stand packed into my pack within 5 minutes. Obviously, it's been some time. It took me probably 10 minutes to fight that thing in there and get it all strapped down into the pack correctly. But again, it does get more efficient as the season goes, and it does get pretty quick. And again, this is just what I do. Some guys out there may have other ideas that are more efficient, but this is the way I like to do it. It's easy to handle the weight of all my gear in that pack system. Generally, I can strap my sticks to my pack if I want. I have those extra straps that I carry that I can actually pull out and strap to this pack using these loops. Most of the time, I'm just carrying those in one hand, my bow in the other. So anyways, that's it, everyone. So that's general rundown of what I carry in my pack and how I pack it away and how I pack it into the field. Again, I'm in and out every time. I don't ever like to leave anything out in the forest, mostly because I'm doing run and gun and I bounce around a lot. So that's going to do it for this video. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave those below. And if you're enjoying what you're seeing, please like this video and subscribe.